Hey everyone, and welcome to another video in the Master Data Management in SQL series. My name is Elric.
And I'm Steve.
And in today's video, we're going to remove tech debt, where I'm going to open up a specific procedure and show you how we are going to utilize the functions we created, the procedures we created, the views, because we need to get rid of tech debt before we're stuck with a semi-functioning system. So I'm going to demo a procedure, how I would resolve that, and then you can go on the wiki and see the other procedures that I may have modified, and I'll give a list of procedures in the description that I have modified.
Just to clarify before we go on, what is it that you mean by tech debt?
Oh, tech debt. That is wide-ranging. I had to add a specific piece of code here to make it work at this time. That code should not be there. That code may start to appear in other procedures. That is tech debt. But we have that code here. I have an insert statement here that talks to I think a synonym, because this is the table finder tool. This is tech debt. We're going to remove that. This is tech debt. We're going to remove that. These are now tech debt because we created our functions. More debt. This, you're going to see why we created our procedures. This is going to get bigger, but this is considered debt. This is good. This is good. This is bad. So we're going to remove that and push that to our procedure that records history and archive, so we can actually toggle that, because we can't toggle it on this right now. It means nothing. It's just inserting to the table. So tech debt is, I have created code to serve my purpose and it does not match the entire system. We need to break these things apart. Yeah.
So basically the easy way, because I remember back in video number 1 where you had said, well, we're going to do it this way, but we're going to do it in a different way later on.
Yeah, and I've said the word spiral a few times. It's this is day 4. This may not be 4 hours of videos, but day 1, 2, and 3 were 4 hours each. So if today was 4 hours, that's 2 days at work. And we have created this much of a system. You know, I don't want to call it agile, because that's like, you know, you have your sprint, 2 weeks, these are the pieces you finish. Well, we don't really finish it 100% because it's a sphere. We're trying to build a sphere and it relies on other pieces. So it's that spiral. Yeah. When we go into the table creation tool, in another video I did definitions, and we created data-driven definitions. There's no reason to have the alter script in there. We got to remove it. Once we get our domain up, we'll learn more about tenancy, and then there's no reason to have the original create table script in there. It'll pull off of tenants, of groups of data. So we're going to convert something that was understandable and readable to anyone into someone who something that you would understand if you knew the system. But going from A to that point is the important process. That's where the patterns start to show.
So basically the system essentially changes itself.
Yes, we're trying to get it to a point where the system maintains and changes itself.
And Skynet was born.
Yeah. Oh, wait until we get to the decisions, because that's crazy. So you guys can follow along. I'm opening up the system object table finder, because there's a lot here that we can fix in terms of tech debt. I actually made a list. First things first is we just created our functions, so we want to get rid of these things, these wherein chains. And we're getting the base ID here. Actually, I want to do something first. let's see what happens. 410 lines of code. Let's see what it turns into. Alright. I'm just gonna redo my changes. Or not. Thanks, SQL. Oh, yeah. I wrote something. So get the base. And we give it our key names. The size of our code. We'll do it again. Since we require an array of different type IDs, but we really want SQL local family IDs, we'll take that code and stub it out to be the family ID.
Pardon me.
There we go.
The one thing that really impressed upon me with this style of coding is how easy things are changed. That you have so much boilerplate to utilize that you can go almost anywhere with what you already have.
Yeah. The more you're in the system too, there's only so many things that can go wrong if you're very consistent, and it's the same thing in different areas. It's really nice. So I mentioned this is one of the pieces of tech debt that we're going to get rid of. This is our Finder tool, and it wants to take off archive. So we're going to create a function for that, and I believe I have some more under the transform. And I do. So we're transforming the dataset name.
But please spell transform correct if you would.
Transformer.
Thank you.
Remove archive history. We're just going to take that. So we're transforming the dataset name, so that will be our incoming. So now we have one spot that's going to take care of removing the underscore archive and history, so we can properly type what this table is.
Beautiful.
That's the important. That's what I mean by tech debt. So
and so in every procedure, we're going to change all of this, so that it's only written once somewhere in a function.
Yeah. So it becomes, that simple thing. Actually, is it data set? Yep. It's data set name.
Absolutely beautiful.
this one, right -6, and I already had one, right -6. Same kind of thing. So just passing this in to remove TBL ref, TBL group, what have you.
Okay. So that essentially removes all the 6-character subjects.
Yeah, the we call it the object prefix and the subject family.
Subject family. Thank you.
Same thing. This pattern exists a lot because we have to strip off. We have a dataset subject, but we also have dataset key names like dataset type, dataset family. So we have to remove the realm class family type from that to figure out what is the subject key name. So we're transforming the dataset name into the subject key name. Let's see, dataset type. We could. Actually, I'm going to leave it like this. Yes, I'm going to come back in here just to prove a point. This should pull directly from our dataset type table. But I can use this anywhere without having to do that yet. And I can just come to this one location and say, hey, this is time. We added new types. We don't have a realm class family type base anymore. Now we have shared attributes and all these other things. It's time to point this at an actual table. But in the meantime, oh, that's fair. So we have to figure out what. Oh, I messed up. I thought too far ahead. I should actually return data set instead of the word base. It's the next thing that I was thinking about, where this where clause is trying to strip off the realm class family type from the dataset name, and what we actually want it to return is realm class family type or base.
Aha.
Which is part of the dataset subject type. So we want to still take in that key name. Actually, it wouldn't really matter what we took in, because they would both end the same. They would just return. So I'll say this takes in a name or a key name and returns actually it would really be set type key name. But same thing goes. We're going to come back and change this, but we have to get our table finder up so we can enter in our dataset types for base, select, insert, update, delete views, and tree views, and all the other views we need, so we can have data points and data set IDs for views, and then link them together to procedures and create an awesome ETL tool.
Okay. Moving kind of fast here.
Sorry.
Friend.
Trying to figure out which data set name. Just want to make sure that I was keeping consistent with the code that was already there.
But that definitely goes to show that productivity can skyrocket with a system like this.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to teach something, you know, and keep it within a certain amount of time is really difficult. But once you're in the system, like I said, there's only so many things that you have to remember. Get type ID for a base table. SQL. See, and this code almost becomes irrelevant, but we have it in there.
Close that off. Shift-R. I'm sorry, I don't need to be telling you what to do.
That's fine. That's pair programming. Hey, can you refresh that to make sure that you spelled that right? Yeah, I'll do that. All my squares were removed. All right. So here's where the fun stuff happens.
Ooh, now that's a big no-no.
Yeah, because we use procedures to track the insert, update, and delete of an object, which will in turn create history and archive records for us. We can't just select a single ID. We have to select everything that we need from that one record. So we're going to have to select all of this data, because if it exists, we need to update the data with what was there minus the changes we want to make.
Okay.
It's tedious, and there are tools available to expand star, and I highly recommend them for productivity purposes. So just copy my select list, and essentially take everything I need from my select. some things.
So basically, it's a time saver.
Oh yeah.
Using the star right now.
Well, I use the star to expand all of the columns in the select list, and that is the time saver. Is that SQL doesn't do that normally. You need a third-party tool to do that. That's my select list. This is what's already in my entire system. So I can remove all that. And then go back down to my select, because we're looking for the dataset name and database ID. So we're gonna fill all of our parameters. It's time consuming. Oh, it's too close. So we have a data set name down here, and if I don't get a result back, that's going to get wiped out. So I'm going to remove data set name. I already have a data set type ID, but like I said, the reason we created these views is to have system unique names. I should have.
So these are unique throughout the in every database.
Yeah. I don't have a dataset type ID from this table. I have a dataset type ID, so we don't have to remove that.
Ah, okay.
Because that's one of the things that we want to replace. And then our insert into goes away, because we're basically saying, hey, give me all of the data for the dataset name and the database ID. Well, if there's no data for it, I still have the name, because that was the only thing in my where clause, and the dataset type ID in the previous statement. Let's see, what else did we need? Specific dataset number source is actually called dataset, so there's no overwrit. That won't be overwritten. But we cannot insert into the table. We must use our change management procedures. Actually, I think I can do this. There we go. So we're going to insert into this, into our change management procedure, and get back our dataset ID if we needed it. What we originally inserted was the database ID. We don't have a group tenant. We don't have that domain set up. Our dataset name is already available in the system. The dataset type ID would not have been available if this thing was null, or if this, We still want to give it a description. Our abbreviations will be null, everything will be null. The object's not initialized. We did have the specific dataset number source. Do we want to record history on things we just find?
Not really.
No.
Or at least I wouldn't think so.
Right off the bat, we just want to mark them.
Yeah, certainly not cleansable at this point.
Can't be deleted if I just found them.
Yep.
That will be a null. I want to say they're active. And for now, I want to say that they are valid. Oh, do I want to record things that are archived? Yes, I want to make sure that if you're deleting from this table,
that it gets archived.
Yeah. But the record itself is not archived.
Got it.
That will be our dataset key name. Let's make sure that it was not getting overwritten.
Gonna use the upper function on that.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly. Oh, because I didn't remember correctly.
Yeah, I was one.
Oh. No. Yeah. We can't do that.
Because we already have it up here. No reason.
It doesn't let you send aggregate functions to a parameter. It's really weird. But that's what our insert becomes. And if the data set exists, we want to make sure that we have everything set correctly. This should be relatively simple because the only thing that I can think of that happens, I mean, we're looking for a dataset name, but one of the big features about this specific procedure is that it's attempting to classify the dataset type. So I want to make sure that I'm using the new classification. This will help me get rid of all the ones, because all of my data set are type 1s, and they shouldn't be. They should be a varying amount of types. Set. That no longer accesses that. Sweet. Does it work? I don't know. Oh. One last thing. always forget this, but this is always an important step. We're in a cursor. If one of my descriptions, if any of these values come back null, it will maintain the original value. So because these are what we're selecting immediately after, or what we are selecting, we want to null them out to make sure that we're getting a fresh whatever every single time. So we added a ton of code.
Yeah. And it all worked on hitting F5. So.
We went from 410 lines down to 380 lines, but we added a ton of features to it. I want to see something before set select.
I know what I'm getting you this Christmas.
What?
A dictionary.
Yeah. It can support my monitor. I don't know how to write SQL. I want to make sure that the history is enabled. So the history is enabled here. I'm going to run this table finder, and it should retype my data sets. Because they should, I mean, they're all ones right now. I'm hoping that that will actually work.
Only one real way to find out.
Only one real way to find out. It compiled. Now, was it logically sound?
Nope. Oh, that looked like it was a default issue.
Yep. So that might just be... Oh, these are null.
Yep.
Nope.
So these have all been nulled down, but we need these. So something occurred where it did not find the dataset key name, and because it did not have values, although I thought all those flags had defaults.
Yeah,
set
they
to
have to. That's what's pretty confusing. See where it's failing. Failing in the update. Oh. So history doesn't have the defaults.
Ah. Why would that be?
That's a good question. What was that? Should have it in a create table. Bam. I just copied the dataset ID for the history. Dataset history. And this is a procedure that I made that will update all my defaults. Hopefully that's what it needed. Unless it's specifically trying to insert in a null. No.
Beautiful. Well done.
I just needed to make sure that my defaults were set. No biggie. Still a pain. those prints. Prints do cause a problem. I mean, they do slow everything down.
Enormously.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations, for some reason, leave that stuff in.
And I understand why. It's easier to debug. Like, I have thought about doing that, but when we get into our error messaging, we will be the same way that we're recording history, yes, no flags, or true, false flags. We'll be doing that for any parameters incoming. So we'll know what's incoming, therefore we can open up the procedure, paste that data, and then run it locally and use our prints there. We don't need it in our stored procedure. So error messaging will be a pretty neat thing. But I want to check, before I end this, the system history. That's not it. And the data set. Yeah, because we are updating them now. So now we have what it was in our system.
Wow.
We can
That's just beautiful right there.
I mean, technically, select star from open JSON. We can see what it was. And you can imagine how easy this is going to be to reverse that, because they match the views. They are system unique and they match the view names.
I don't know if you've gone over this in previous videos, but and so I'm going to ask the question now. Tell me about OpenJSON as opposed to XQuery or OpenXML.
Oh, using JSON instead of XML.
Yeah. Because this is brand new in the Microsoft world.
Yeah.
A lot of other DBMSs have been using JSON for some time.
I do not. This is my personal opinion. I do not like XML because you can have elements and attributes and you can call them differently. That is my opinion. I like JSON because it's simple and it's nesting. It's a key and a value, and that's it. In SQL 2016, so this OpenJSON has two parameters: one, the string, and two, the path. So that's the root path. I believe that's correct. I don't think I need a dot. Yeah. So that's the root path. If I were to, let's say, data set, and I'm going to use caps specifically because I want you to think of key names running through this. I will get back that group. So when I run through here's what I mean to say. It's also case sensitive. This is only possible in SQL 2017.
Ah, look at that.
In SQL 2016, you cannot do this. You have to dynamically execute a dynamic OpenJSON statement, and it's ridiculous. But in 2016, they finally added this feature, adding a variable in the path, which makes this it complements this system dramatically. This variable could have been a key name from a definition table, or what it will be is a key name from content, from different parameters to display, like, hey, what time is it? Is it the morning? What gender are you? We're going to display this data. Or decisions. I'm looking for this specific decision family ID or family key name in this giant block of JSON. So we're going to have some crazy dynamic decisions based on this open JSON thing. It's going to find specific values, and if it doesn't find them, it'll treat it differently, like F#. So I really like JSON. It's not XML.
Well,
Yeah.
You said before, I don't like XML, and you really could have put a period there, because there are a lot of developers who simply don't like the clunkiness.
I don't think you can query an XML typed field across a linked server. So I can do that with JSON because it's just text. And I think that's a limitation. But I also don't use geography or hierarchy IDs too. Like, I stay away from all these CLRs because they pose problems. So yeah, that's why I like JSON in general. But yeah, that is the refactoring that I'll be doing for most of the day. And I will post the link in the description to the wiki about the procedures that I modified. And yeah, you have any other questions or anything?
Not at this time. As you go along with this, obviously, you're doing a lot of things that are brand new. For instance, in 2008, we wouldn't even be contemplating JSON and many other things here. In 2005, 6.5. So this is very educational in using some of the new features that Microsoft offers us.
We're also trying to stay away from the features that Microsoft offers us.
Some of them, yes,
temporal
I'm wholly
tables.
Agreed. DQS, MVS, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you all who tuned in for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. And we will see you again next time. Have a good day.
Happy coding.